Well, I'm here to tell you an interesting story from your book, which is titled Three Questions. It's written by Leo Tolstoy. Once there was a king. He sought answers to three questions. He thought that if he knew these answers, then he would be the most able and successful man on the earth and he would never fail in his decisions. What were the questions? The first one was that what is the correct time to begin something? What is the right time to start something? The second question was that which people should he listen to? Who are the important people for him? And the third is what is the most important thing for him to do? It means that was the important work for him to do. So, to find out the answers, he sent messengers all over the kingdom and announced a big reward to the person who would answer these questions. Many wise men gave their answers, but they were all different. Some suggested him to make a timetable and follow it strictly to the first question. Because we know that if you have a timetable, then we can make proper management of time and we can do proper work division and work accordingly. Others consider it impossible to decide the right moment for any task, any work in advance, because you have to take the decision at the moment only. Some of them suggested to give up pleasure and be vigilant to know when to do something. Some proposed that a council of wise men should be in the kingdom to advise the king about the proper moment to act, because a single person cannot have ideas of everything. So council of wise men could help the king for different aspects. There were other who thought it necessary to be able to look into the future to find out such answer, and which could be possible only through magicians. Now for the second question, that the most important people, some of the people said that they were counselors. Others said they were the priests, and some said soldiers. And the answers to the third questions also were right. Science, battle, religious worship. They were the different views and ideas given by the people about important things to do. But the king was not satisfied with any of them. So he did not reward anyone. He decided instead to seek answers himself from a hermit who was renowned for his wisdom. The hermit, he lived in the forest and met only ordinary people. So the king wore simple clothes, and leaving his horse and bodyguard a distance away, he walked up to the hermit's hut alone. At that time, the hermit was digging the earth near his hut. He greeted the king as he approached and continued digging. The king asked questions, but the hermit did not answer and continued to dig. Then the king offered him to dig, seeing the hermit was quite tired, and the king kept digging and repeated his questions again and again. Still the hermit did not reply him and asked him to give his spade back and take rest. But the king continued digging. Finally, at sunset, the king was impatient and asked him the answers to his question if he could, or else he would return home. Then suddenly a man came running there. Who was he? That was the matter of surprise. The man who ran in was bearded, and the blood came out from a wound in his stomach. He reached the king and fell down. He fainted. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothes. They washed the wound and pressed in his handkerchiefs to stop the bleeding, which finally stopped. Then the king gave him water to drink and carried him inside the hut with the help of hermit. They put him on the bed. Tired by the work he had done, the king felt sleepy. The king slept soundly on the floor. And when he awoke next morning, the bearded man told the king that he had come to seek revenge for the king, as he had put his brother to death and taken all his property. He confessed that he had come to kill king and waited in the wood for him to return to his palace. But when the king did not return that way for a long time, he approached the hut and was wounded by his bodyguard. He asked for the king's forgiveness as he had saved his life. He said that he should have died if the king had not dressed his wounds. So he promised to serve him loyally and so did his sons. The king was glad to have an enemy turn to a loyal friend. He forgave the man. He told that he would send his own doctor to treat him and also promised him to return his all property. Now, before leaving, the king wanted the answers to his question last time. The hermit was sowing seeds in the beds that they had dug a day before. When the king pleaded with the hermit for his answer, the hermit said that you had already got all your answers. Your answers had all been given. The king did not understand. He asked him again that please explain me regarding it. The hermit explained that the most important time was when the king helped him dig the beds. For if he had not helped him, then he would have returned to the kingdom and he probably killed by the bearded men. And the most important person was the hermit himself, because to do him good was the most important business that saved his life. Finally, when wounded men came in, the most important time was when the king cared for him. This saved his life and turned his enemy to a friend. The bearded man so was the most important man, and caring for him was the most important business. The hermit told the king the most important time was the present, the current time, because you can act only at that time. It's only now. The most important person is the person who is with you at the moment. For you are not sure of meeting anyone else in the future, because future is uncertain. It is unknown, and the most important business is to do good to that person, to serve that person, for that is the person of our life, because we are sent in this world for certain purpose. So hope you might have understood. I can even give you the example. You can see the situation right now all over the world. We all are feared of the coronavirus, which is a pandemic and a global problem. So, what is the right moment? From the chapter, you can understand what was the right moment. The right moment was a time when our PM declared lockdown, because we would have lost so many lives if he had not declared the lockdown at the right moment. So the present time is the most important time for all of us to stay home and take care of ourselves. Second, who is the most important person? The most important person are your parents. The most important person is the government. The most important persons are the doctors, the nurses, the helpers, and the policemen who are serving our nation throughout day and night. And the third answer, what is the most important work? What is the most important business? It is to serve people at this tough situation. It is to help others. To help mankind is a true service to God. It's a true worship to God. Only in this way we can come out of this critical situation. So all of you, take care of yourself, your family. Hope that we will definitely again have a good time. So take care, all of you. Goodbye.